Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with Simon Gaudreault. He is the Chief Economist and Vice President of Research for the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Simon, I had to cut you off there. Please continue with your comment about what the situation is with shutting down businesses, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so two things that at CFIB we've said right from the start about the bankruptcy situation due to this pandemic is that, yes, you have probably lower numbers in the beginning of the pandemic, but this is only temporary. This is going to catch up the moment, and if you pull out the support programs too soon, if you force businesses to reimburse the loans that were granted during the pandemic too soon, too quickly, this is going to put businesses in a very challenging situation because of what I was describing earlier. Their financial situation right now is still far from back to normal. And the second thing is, and that's what we covered in our recent research report in more detail, is the fact that bankruptcy numbers are just the tip of the iceberg. Yes, there is hundreds and thousands of business bankruptcies that have been registered since the start of the pandemic, and more to come. But our research shows that when asked about whether or not they will right now consider permanently closing down their business, 1 in 6 small business owners in Canada are saying, yes, I'm currently seriously giving it a thought. That first number is very concerning. And when asked a sub question, that group of respondents mentioned that the way they will most likely do it, the way they will most likely permanently close down their business, is not through a bankruptcy process. Only 1 in 10 will do that. Most of them will just, about half actually, will just quietly wind down the business, sell the assets, and close up shop. And you have another quarter that will perhaps transfer the business to another business owner, another buyer. So that shows that when one looks only at the bankruptcy numbers, it is somewhat of an incomplete picture of the state of small businesses in Canada at the moment.
So, Simona, it sounds like for those businesses that you just described, it's more of a revenue issue, or is it a debt issue, or is it a bit of both?
I will say it's a bit of both, definitely. You have 62% of businesses that are still dealing with COVID debt. Last time we estimated the average amount a bit earlier this year, it was still $158,000 on average per business. And just to put things in perspective, when you think about the typical small business in Canada, about half have 5 employees or less. So we're talking about very small business operations here, and in that context, $158,000 in debt is a significant burden for them to deal with. And at the same time, you have more than half, that are 54%, that are not making normal sales yet. Add on top of that the fact that financing costs have just gone up significantly and are still going to go up because we're fighting inflation right now. And what is the main tool that the central bank has at its disposal to fight inflation? Hiking interest rates. And you also have a significant number of businesses, actually about 2/3 of businesses that have variable rate financing instruments. So they're exposed immediately to a hike in interest rates. And all of that adds up with the current economic situation that we have, all of the cost pressures that businesses are facing. And you can understand that at that point, a lot of small businesses are under a lot of financial pressure. And that's not surprising, again, that 1 in 6 are seriously contemplating their future as business owners at the moment, but it's concerning.
Yeah, we've got about 20 seconds before the break, but it sounds like the interest rate hikes have also had an impact on their thinking.
Absolutely. So you have about 2/3 of businesses saying it will have a negative impact on their business.
We're going to continue our discussion with Simon Gaudreault. He is a VP Research at Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.